Hello, hello, and welcome to today's subscriber contract 2 for 2 Season 3, set on all of the maps of Hitman 3 and supplied to us today by Paul Anderson 37, who was inspired by the One and Done series by Kitties. So for our first round we are off to Ambrose Island, and just like in the previous two versions of this, or the previous two seasons, we are going to attempt to speed run some of these levels. Now Paul Anderson, as I've mentioned, is not a speed runner, but he was inspired by Kitty's One and Done speed run series. So we are going to at least try to make the attempt. So our first target will be making his way across the bridge here, and all we have to do is wait until he gets to the middle and give him a gentle nudge over the edge and down into the ocean. So one target taken care of, we're now going to make our way around to the next target, who is located right across the map. They are on the far side of the map where the default starting location is. In fact, they're literally just a few yards behind where we would normally start. So we're just going to make our way straight down the cove beach and into the woods beyond, and this will lead us pretty much straight to where we're going. I always get lost in these woods, so hopefully we're going the right way, but I believe we are. So when we get towards the big tree, we're going to pull out our silenced sniping rifle, and from somewhere in here in these bushes, I don't think that's the shot I'm looking for, just by that rock to our left there, we should be able to get a clear shot off on our target. Now as long as the fisherman isn't moving around at that point, no one will see him go into the water. Luckily enough, the fisherman is dealing with his boat, so we can drop our sniping rifle and run straight for the boat exit, and we can head off somewhere preferably a little bit sunnier. So next up on our Whirlwind World Tour, we are off to Haven Island, and we are going to very quickly make our way into our chalet or apartment here. We're going to retrieve our lockpick from our briefcase, and then we're going to make our way over to the snorkel instructor's hut, which you can see just off in the distance there, and we are going to use our lethal poison on said snorkel instructor or scuba instructor. That would be the gentleman here in the blue and black wetsuit. He's currently sampling the oxygen supply for his cylinder there. It's a rather large cylinder to be scuba diving with. So once he moves away, we're going to stand in his place, and we're just going to wait for this lifeguard here to move away, and at that point everyone should have their backs to us, and we can very quickly crouch down, add our lethal poison to the snorkel mask, and then we're going to move a safe distance away. And now eventually, and it does take a little while, the snorkel instructor will make his way back over to retest the oxygen, and he will find that it's gone rather sour, and then someone will come along and have his body removed, because we do need his outfit, and I don't want to run over whilst he's out in public and everyone's looking at him and take his outfit. That would be somewhat rude. So down goes the snorkel instructor as we strike a pose. There we go. So someone's going to come along and remove the body shortly, and they're going to bring the body to the laundry room underneath the gym. So what we're going to do is we're going to go there early. So we're just going to make our way around to the rear of the gym into the toilets, where we will be able to lockpick our way into the laundry room. You can also go upstairs into the gym and drop down into the laundry basket, but this way is a bit quicker. So eventually a guard will bring us our change of outfit. We're just going to wait for him to vamonos. There we go. Well done, sir. Thank you very much. Your tips in your wage packet. We're going to take the scuba instructor's outfit, and then we're going to make our way over to the private island where Stephen Bradley should be currently running around the island, making his bodyguard look silly by leaving him miles behind. So there they go, as you can see. So he's going to do one little lap of the island, and he's then going to make his way up into the tiki bar. While he is doing that, we are going to run over to the scuba, or jet ski should I say, over here, and we're going to add our micro explosive to said jet ski. There we go, that will do nicely. And then we're going to make our way to the tiki bar, and we need to get the scuba keys. Now the scuba diver, or the scuba instructor, has a set of keys on him, but we didn't grab those, so we need the keys from underneath the tiki bar. So we're just going to quickly run under here. There's some coins down here, a propane cylinder, and the jet ski keys. So at this point, Stephen Bradley should have just finished lapping the island, and he will be making his way to this location via these stairs right here. So we're just going to wait right here for him to arrive, and as you can see, he is already on his way. When he gets here, we are going to offer him the jet ski keys.
Mr. Bradley, are these yours?
Dude, I've been looking everywhere for those. You just made my day. I am going to tear the sea a new one. Thanks, buddy.
My pleasure.
So now Stephen Bradley is going to head off, and he's going to go and get on his jet ski. We are going to get ourselves a nice front row seat, and we are going to watch the fireworks. So we're just going to select our remote detonator. I'm going to head right out to the land bridge, which is the very thin strip of water that connects the private island to Mr. Tyson Williams' villa. And from here we'll have a nice uninterrupted view of when Stephen Bradley goes out on his jet ski. And if we time this just right, when we detonate the jet ski, it will launch Stephen Bradley miles out to sea. If we get it wrong, he will just go up in a big ball of flames. So let's see if we can do ball of flames or flying lesson. And we managed to get the flying lesson, and I don't think anyone's going to be retrieving him before the sharks get to him. So with all of our targets dealt with, all that's left for us to do is to make good our escape, and it just so happens that there is an amphibious plane just on the beach by Mr. Williams's villa. So there we go. One more map taken care of. Next up, we're off somewhere a little bit more arid. So for our next stop on our whirlwind tour of the world, we are off to Dubai. So we are going to start off at the top and work our way down. So first thing we're going to do is make our way out of Carl Ingram's apartment and over to the Sikh's apartment, and we will have triggered our conversation between a guard and a staff employee, or a penthouse staff employee. And when that conversation plays out, the guard, who happens to be our target, will come over this way. So when he gets over past the entrance to the stairs, we should be safely hidden away from everyone's view, and we can then pounce on our target and render him unconscious and dump him over the banister, and he will land down in the lounge area in front of one of his colleagues. So one target down. Our next and final target is located all the way down in the atrium lift area. So we're going to make our way all the way down there. We do have to go a slightly longer route, as round the back of the art installation we will be trespassing. So once we get down to the corridors where the kitchen is, we're going to hop into the lift shaft and down to the safety deposit box room, and we're just going to wait here in the lift shaft as our target is currently engaged in a conversation. We're going to pick our moment before hopping up and into the deposit box room, and I'm just going to hide here behind this desk, although we are not trespassing. We're just going to wait for the conversation to finish playing out and for the customer to wander away before we pounce on our target. We're going to render her unconscious, and then we're going to place our breaching charge under her head, and we're going to move a safe distance before we detonate said breaching charge, and then we're going to drop this young lady down the lift shaft. So both of our targets taken care of in relatively quick succession. All that's left for us to do is to call the lift and head down to the ground floor, and we can then head off to somewhere a little bit more dull. So for our next stop on our trip around the world, we are off to Dartmoor, and we're starting right at the beginning because our first target is right here, and we need to be in our suit for this one. So we're just going to make our way straight to the gap in the wall. We're now going to hug the river all the way around to the bridge and try not to get spotted as we do so, and then we're going to cut across the road and into the bushes behind the two guards, one of which is our target. So once we get into the bushes, we're going to pull out our Seeker 1, and we're going to make the non-target guard sick, and while he is getting rather ill and making his way over to the river behind us, and the private investigator is bouncing around like a rabbit, we are going to retrieve our silenced shotgun, and once both the private investigator and the now very sick guard are a safe distance away, we're going to shoot our target square in the back with the shotgun, and then we're going to grab his body and we're going to pull him into the bushes where we were hiding. We're then going to take his outfit so that we can move around a little bit easier, and then we're going to make our way over the bridge and around to the rear of the property, which is where our next target is located. Now our next target requires a poison, so we're going to need to acquire ourselves a poison, and that is easily done as we just use the bushes here to get past the one enforcer. We're going to continue on all the way round till we get to the greenhouse, and at the greenhouse we're going to veer off and grab the wrench on the fountain. We're then going to bust our way into the greenhouse as we don't have a lockpick available. So depending where the patrolling guard is, he's just gone to the front. So we're going to go to the side and we're going to use our master key to access the greenhouse. We're going to grab the boat keys as we enter. We're going to grab one of the emetic flowers, and then we're going to fix the emetic flower poison machine. Add our emetic flower to the machine, turning it into a lethal poison. We're then going to take that lethal poison back out the front of the greenhouse, and on the left hand side we will find a bottle on the banister, and if the gardener isn't already drinking from it, we're just going to quickly add our poison to it. I'm going to stick around for the elimination, and luckily enough the gardener is heading for a nice refreshing cold drink of water as we move away. And once he drinks that, he will find it not to his liking. He will go down rather quickly, and we can then make good our escape by heading for the boat exit as we have the keys. So we are nearly there, just a few more stops and we would have completed our world tour. So for our next stop on our world tour, we are going to take a short break and we're going to go and let our hair down, if we had any, in Berlin. And the first thing we're going to do is put down that mop. We're going to make our way to the staff only area and retrieve our coins that we have stashed up there, and we're then going to make our way over to the juice bar, and more specifically the rear of the juice bar where the delivery boy is currently hanging around. We're going to throw our coin by a dumpster here. That will get the delivery boy's attention, and when he goes over to investigate, we can throw a concealable knife at the back of his head, and we are one target down. So obviously that is not an accident unless he was very, very unlucky. So we're going to deposit him in the dumpster provided before making our way up and over the shipping containers and into the rear of the juice bar and into the bikers hangout. Now we are trespassing, but if we are moving fast enough we will not be seen. We're going to make our way into the changing rooms. We're going to grab the biker's outfit, and then we can make our way into the club proper and all the way down to the lowest level. So we're just going to go out via the entrance here. We're going to take out the camera with a second attempt on the courtyard entrance door, and then we're going to make our way all the way down to the absolute lowest level of the map, and being very much aware that our nemesis Mr. Montgomery also frequents this stairwell quite regularly. It turns out Mr. Montgomery is making his way down here as we speak, but he's coming down a different set of stairs. So we're going to make our way straight into the security office. We're going to drop our taser on the floor and throw one of our coins over by the door to get our target's attention, and when he goes over he will spot the taser. We're going to trigger it, and then we're going to hide our way. As I can see on the minimap, Agent Montgomery has just come around the corner, so we can't witness the elimination, so we may as well just head straight for the nearby exit. So for our penultimate stop on our world tour, we are off to sunny Chongqing, and we are dressed for the occasion, and we are going to make our way straight along the walkway from the train station, and we are going to head to the homeless area, which is just below the main part of the map. And our first target is here, wandering around telling people not to go to the block as they will steal your soul. So while he's here and all alone, we're going to quickly approach him from behind, jab him in the back with our needle. He will go down rather gracefully for a homeless man who is probably feeling somewhat malnourished, but we've managed to cure his hunger. So next up, our next target is located up in the block, and they are another homeless gentleman who has unfortunately sold his soul to the devil. So we're just going to head around to the rear alleyway. We're going to make our way up into the block via the drain pipe here, and we're going to wait just outside the interview room for our target to finish having his interview, and when it's done he will head out this way, heading towards the front doors, and we are going to intercept him before he gets there. So here he comes now, looking rather better dressed for the weather compared to us, and once he goes past and gets a little way down the corridor, we're just going to drop him with a simple bullet to the head, and then we're going to retreat back out of the building the same way we came in. There we go, and we're going to make our way around to the rear of the building, where we will have a moped waiting for us to leave, if we can find a way to get on it. So for our final stop on our worldwide tour, we are off to Mendoza, and we are going to vacate the bar and wine tasting room area. We're going to head straight down to the cinema, and just down by the screen we will find a screwdriver, and that is a requirement, so we're going to go and grab that. It's just on the boxes here underneath the screen. There we go. We're going to select our tranquilizer gun, and we're going to make our way back up to where the projector is located, along with the two winery workers. We're going to shoot the non-target winery worker with the tranquilizer gun, and then launch our screwdriver at our target's head. There we go, lovely jubbly. So our target will have dropped a set of keys. We're going to quickly grab them, as they will enable us to get to our next target a little bit quicker. Rather than going all the way around and outside the buildings, we can just lockpick our way through the door behind us into the bottling room or the fermentation room, and up to the barrel room at the back here. And at the back here we will have access to the tunnels where our target is located. So what we're going to do basically is exactly the same thing we did in the cinema. There will be a target and a non-target. We're going to make the non-target very sleepy very quickly, and then we are going to deal with our target, although this time round we will not be using a screwdriver. So we're just going to quickly shoot our non-target guard in the back, give our target a nice little gentle nudge down into the sewers, and then we are going to make our way into the changing room, where we will have a wetsuit available to us, which will then unlock the sewer exit, and we can then return back to the scene of the crime and throw ourselves into the sewers after our target. So there we go, one more run through of every map on the Hitman game. We managed to eliminate all of our targets throughout the maps according to plan, and we got ourselves a myriad of silent assassin ratings. I have been Anubis, and I will see you all in the next video.